So for those of you guys that don't know, we're doing an event in Scottsdale, Arizona on Monday and Tuesday. It's not too late if you're in the area or you can get to Scottsdale. It's going to be a great couple of days. And we are going to have some great speakers. Myself and Gordon and Steve will be speaking, and some other agents. Guys, tell me, what is your biggest challenge that you're faced with right now? And I'll pick on some of you. Dean, tell me what's going on with your business right now. What are you facing that's not that you need some help with?
I think the biggest thing is the buyer contracts not getting as accepted as much right now. The amount of cash offers and over 50% down or more for my team that they're, because I mainly focus on the listings now, but I would say that would probably be the biggest challenges for my team. They're making offers every single week. It's just challenging to get those offers accepted.
So you're getting beat up by investors, basically, is what's happening. You know, one of the things that I would do in that situation, Dean, is when you're meeting with your buyer's agents, make sure that they are working with the right buyer. And what I mean by that is if you've got a buyer that you know that based on their criteria that they're going to, let's say they're in a lower end price point for your market, there's going to have lots of competition, and you know a cash buyer is going to probably get those deals. What's the chances of that buyer really buying a house right now? Maybe not that good. So maybe you have to counsel them on how to make their offering more attractive, more cash, or should they looking in a lower price range, or can they go up? What can we do to make them more attractive? In the end, if they are not a competitive buyer, maybe that's a buyer that we can't work with right now.
So actually talking on that point, then that is where I think the real crux of the issue lies, is that the team won't want to prospect as heavily as I would for a listing, as they would to find the buyers that are actually there that will get accepted in this market. And so I guess the question would then be, from a leadership perspective, is how can I share, or inspire them to actively look on a constant basis, which is the ethos of my team, but still to do this at a high level for buyer business as opposed to just sellers.
Well, it's a training and coaching issue, obviously. It's not a one-time conversation. It's a conversation you're going to have over and over and over and over and over again. Who was in business during the recession when we were in upside down land? Anybody? Mark and I, a few of us. Okay. Do you remember back then when we would go on a listing appointment and you'd have to tell a seller that they couldn't sell their house because they owed, $400,000 and it was worth $350? Do you remember those conversations?
Yeah.
So as a good listing agent, we wouldn't list the property because it's not going to sell. We would walk away from that seller, shake their hand, wish them the best, do a short sale if you had to, but there was listings that we turned down because it wasn't the right time for them to sell. The same thing is true in a competitive buyer market, but it's just buyers. There are some buyers that are not going to be able to buy. And so your agents, you have to coach them on that. You have to coach them to see that they're literally missing out on the good buyers because they're working the bad buyers. So I hope that answers your question. We've been dealing with that for about 3 years now, but they have to work with the most competitive buyers if they're getting beat out. Make the buyers more competitive. So good. Thank you for that. Other challenges. Who else has something that they need help with today? Don't leave me hanging.
Making contacts.
Okay. All right, Mark. So when you say making contacts, what do you mean?
Well, in this market, I need to make more contacts.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's been a struggle because I remember having a call with you. We didn't have to make a lot of contacts during COVID. Now all of a sudden we got to make contacts. So what do you recommend? How do we make more contacts? What do we need to do?
So the first thing we have to do is accept the fact that this isn't the same market that we were in during COVID. And so for part of this, guys, it's a mental issue. It's a mindset issue. Because if you were in business, let's say in 2012, 2011, were we making a lot of contacts back then? Yeah, you had to make a lot of contacts to find someone who could sell their property. But we accepted it because we'd been in that market for a while. Right now, you're going through an adjustment period because it didn't take many contacts for us to find a listing or to find a buyer. And now, because the inventory is so low and the interest rate issue, the high interest rates compared to what they were 2 or 3 years ago, people are not wanting to sell their homes at the same rate. So first, accept it mentally. And then, and this is going to be counter to probably what a lot of you have heard, it's not about the contacts. It's about talking to enough people until you set an appointment. So you have to be careful not to focus on contact, because that's counterproductive too. Every person that you get on the phone, or if you're door knocking face to face, you have to capitalize on each and every conversation. You have to make sure that you are asking all the questions and you're skilled enough to do it in a conversational way where they'll open up to you. So for you, Mark, as an example, I coach Mark, and we're working on, for his business plan for the next 90 days, we want 1 listing a week. Simple, 1 listing a week. So for you, you're going to have to prospect a lot, but you need to set probably 2 appointments a week.
I think, yeah, 1 a week.
One a week.
Well, 1 to 3 would do it.
But minimum of 1, and if you don't hit a minimum of 1, you're not going to take the listing that you need to hit the goal. So focus on the number of appointments that you need and be willing to stay on the phone or out in the field and work as much as you need to until you set that objective. I've coached for a long time, and I've seen agents that will make, oh my gosh, 60 contacts a day, and they don't get the results they're looking for. It's because they're looking for the wrong thing. We need to look for the appointment. It's not about the contact. So thank you. So mindset, and just be ready to work. It's old school, man. We have to get out there and shake the bushes. Anybody, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but I feel sorry for you if you got the business from like 2019 to now, because your view of real estate is not what real estate really is. The truth isn't this just kind of a normal market for those of us that have been around for a while? We have to work hard to find listings. And to Dean's point, we don't always put every deal together, do we? Not every deal is going to come together. So good question. Who else has a challenge that they want to talk about? Or anything that you're dealing with? What about you, Ray? What's going on in your business right now? You're on mute.
Dealing with cancellations. So basically people canceling on me, and they're traditionally doing it through text because it's less confrontational. So I'm working on using some of Steve's ideas, just following right back. No worries. I'll see you tomorrow at a new time, and just keep pressing for keeping the appointment. But definitely a lot of cancellations. So part of what I'm doing is looking for the business now, but it's also building the pipeline for coming this spring. I'm starting to get a lot of people start talking about the spring, and we're just not even done summer yet. But
I know. Well, so a couple of things with the cancellations is one of the things to try to do is to shorten the length of time from when you set the appointment to when you have the appointment. And everybody write that down. Shorten the length of time from when you set the appointment to when the appointment actually happens. Anything beyond 48 hours, guys and gals, unless it's your center of influence, anything beyond 48 hours, there's a pretty high cancellation probability. Don't you agree?
yes.
So if I'm prospecting today and I set an appointment and it's for next Tuesday, so much life can happen between now and next Tuesday. So I want to try to get in there today or tomorrow, Saturday maybe if I need to, and shorten that period of time. The other thing I would suggest is if you're using a pre-listing package, get it out fast, as fast as possible. Don't wait. Because we want to pre-sell them on you and what you're doing and your qualifications. And then, Ray, the other thing is I would make sure, and this is again kind of counter to what we always think, make sure when you're setting an appointment from the beginning, it's a good appointment.
Mm-hmm.
If the general rule of thumb for me personally is if when I'm coaching is if I can't get them to pre-qual right there, it's probably not a good appointment. Because the pre-qual is going to pre-sell you, but it's also, I'm building rapport too and making a deeper connection with that client. So if I'm talking to a FSBO and they say, yeah, come out next Tuesday, and they won't pre-qual with me, that's a tough one, right? There's not, I don't have enough connectivity to them to get them to keep that appointment. So try to shorten that period of time. It will be, you'll see a different result. I promise you. So good. So how are you guys dealing with this lack of inventory from a mental standpoint? Is it bothering you? Are you stressed out about it? Are you finding the listings that you need to hit your goal?
I would say it's a benefit.
Okay, how? Tell me, please.
I mean, I'm more confident in this market than I was this time last year.
Okay, how so?
Because, well, if I price a property well, it's going to sell.
Mm-hmm.
And there are people out there that have to buy now.
Okay,
And there are sellers that have to sell. So it just takes the skill set to put the two together.
That's right. Well, and especially because this group that's on this call is willing to do things that other agents are not willing to do. So as we're sitting here talking about having to prospect more, or we're dealing with offers that aren't getting accepted or cancellations, you have a whole generation of agents that don't know what to do. So you're in rare air. If you're willing to go out there and do the work every day, you can outwork the competition right now very easily, and you can gain market share during this time. Please, Mark, go ahead.
Well, it's just reality set in with the sellers. So last year they were still in la la land, thinking their place was worth so much. Now it's reality for them.
How are you guys dealing with the sellers that their interest rates are low at 2% and 3%, and they're struggling with making that move? Are you seeing some of that? Are you hearing that? Ray, go ahead, please.
Oh, I was just going to say that I hear that all the time. So it's really looking for a lifestyle motivational reason, because they don't have a real reason to move. They might very well be best suited in holding on to that property because it makes sense. But if they have like a newborn on the way, or they have some real reason why they need a different type of a house, then that's the angle to talk to them more about.
So that, you can see this whole conversation comes full circle, because it goes back to finding the clients that are actually motivated. That's why we're having to prospect more, and that's what's creating a lot of these issues. So again, the mindset that this is how the market is the first thing, because we're so conditioned to the past 3 years. And now this is just like any other market. We're looking for people that actually have the motivation to sell, right? I think the other part of it too is how we're educating our clients. And I want to share a story with you that this happened to me about a month ago. Was my grandson's birthday party, and they were doing a Nerf party. It was pretty fun. The little boys are out there shooting Nerf guns, and all the parents were there. And these are parents that are in their 30s and 40s, right? So what always comes up? Real estate. And isn't that amazing? Somebody finds out that you're in real estate and everybody wants to talk about it, which is great. And so I'm sitting here with these kids, they're not kids, these young people, 30s and 40s, and talking about the market. And they were saying, oh my gosh, I just can't believe anyone would buy with these interest rates being what they are. I'm not going to sell. I've got a 3% rate. And so as we were talking and I was educating them on what we all know, that 7% rate is the average rate over the past 27 years. Did you guys aware of that? That is the average rate. Anything below 7 has been considered to be a great rate. Now, my first house that I bought was at 18%. So I bought houses at 18, I bought houses at 4, 14, 10. If you want to buy, the rate is not the issue, right? Date the rate, buy the house. But I think we have to educate people and make sure that they're aware that that was such an anomaly. We may never see those rates again. We may never see the rates again. This is what's called normal. Mark Hammer, please.
So in my marketplace, 60% of the people in my marketplace do not have mortgages.
Ooh. Well, that's great. Well, then what would stop them from selling?
So even if it was exactly right, and downsizing. So like, where's our marketplace? How many of them actually have mortgages? Because I'm telling my team members, are we looking for the people that can't make the move, or are we looking for the people that can make the move?
So because you have that, if there's a way that you could target those for targeted prospecting, that would be a great way to target. Whether
Older houses, door knock.
you're calling, door knock, whatever. For those of you that are in the States, you can purchase lists of people that don't have mortgages in your area, or that have been, if you have, there's a program called Property Radar. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. Great. If you don't know about it, great program. You can search all different criteria. So you can search for people that have been in their homes for more than 15 years, 10 years, whatever, no mortgages, that type of thing. And then focus your prospecting on that. You could put in a lot of cases, they actually have emails for those people. So you could do email campaigns. If you're doing any type of marketing through your CRM, you could set up some marketing campaigns through that as well. So really start to think outside the box in terms of who are the people they're going to sell. There's also a company called The Share Group. If you guys, I don't know if you've heard of this company before, they sell lists of things that are divorces in your area. And it's not expensive. You can say, I want my county's Pulaski County, divorces in the past 2 years. Now, is that someone that's likely to sell? Yeah, they're likely to sell. You can do, they have one that's called Likely to Sell too, where they've done the algorithms and so forth that they'll sell you. But you can do divorces. They also do probates, just different lists. It's a data company and they will sell you lists, and they're not expensive. They're very easy to work with. So check them out. That's called The Share Group. The Share Group. So speaking of technology, what other technology are you guys using in your business that's helping you in your business today? Anybody want to share? I just shared 2 with you guys. Surely you've got some others.
I got a couple. I'll share.
Okay, thanks, Ray. Please.
So a couple of great tools is one's called Altos Research. And Altos Research has statistics on every zip code in the country, and they divide the market into 4 quadrants based on the size of the home. So you can literally talk to anybody in any zip code, and based on the size of their home, bedrooms, bathrooms, and age, be able to have an intelligent conversation about what's happening in the market based on a bunch of different metrics. And it will automatically email them their information on a campaign basis. And then you can see who's engaging with the data. So the company is great. The CEO used to be my boss 20 years ago in Silicon Valley. If you guys are interested in an introduction, let me know. And then another really cool tool is called Real Scout, which makes the process of updating people on anything that moves in a neighborhood very easy, great interface, and it also shows engagement. So you can see when people are clicking on things, and then you can pretend you don't even know they clicked on it and call them and start talking to them about something that you know they clicked on, but they don't know you know. So it's also interesting. That's another way to use it.
That's very good, Ray. Thank you so much. I've got one more and I see Gordon's back. So another one that I'm using that's called Deal Check. If you haven't done that one, it's called Deal Check, and it's for investors. So if you are interested in flipping yourself, or you have an investor that wants to flip, it's Zillow owns it. So it goes right into the MLS and it will do all the calculations for you. And it's a very cool product.
Okay, so this is what I want to talk to you guys about. I'm doing an experiment with my team this month that I want to share with you. So my team typically will sell somewhere in the 50 to 55 homes per month range. That's typically what they do. I've got 19 full-time people on my team right now. We do 50 to 55 sales a month. The best month we've ever had was 57 or 58. Anyway, so here we are, the 21st day of the month, and we have done 46. Well, that puts us on track as a team because we're literally, today is the 21st day of the month. We're literally 2/3 of the way through September because it's a 30-day month, right? So we've got 10 days left to go. So that puts my team on track this month for 69 sales. We continue the pace we're on at 69 sales, and in September, come on. Everybody knows that you're not supposed to sell a lot of houses September of 2023 when everybody's bailing out of the business, right? No. No, not at all. One of the things that I'm learning, especially this month, is how, and I want you to hear me on this, guys, how we create our own reality. It's really true, how you create your own reality. If you're buying into all the negative crap out there and all the propaganda and all the conspiracy theories and, oh my gosh, I love my brother to death. He's a police officer from Connecticut, but has he bought into everything. I call him up and he's like an angry dude all the time. And I feel sorry for him, even though a lot of what he's saying may be right. I don't want to think about all this negative stuff all the time, nor do I want my salespeople thinking about all this, because when you've got all this negative stuff running through your head, next thing you know, the world is negative and you're getting negative results. You can't afford that. You've got to stay positive. And when you stay positive and you're excited and you believe in what you can do, guess what? The world cooperates with you and it becomes a great market. So again, we're on track right now. I'm into my 5th year running this team. We're on track. We will have the best sales month that we have ever had as a team this month. And I'm going to tell you exactly what we're doing to make that happen. It's a 3-step plan and it's real simple. But you know what? Most of the great ideas, Sydney, most of the great ideas are really simple, aren't they?
Absolutely.
It's kind of like that Vince Lombardi, starting off the football season with the Green Bay Packers. Gentlemen, this is a football. Seriously? I can just imagine the rookies. Seriously? All right, so let's start off. Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, this is the plan. Here's what we're going to do. Step 1, we are focusing on what I'm calling our peak prospecting times. Peak prospecting times. Now, my team comes in and starts prospecting every day from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. Some of you have been in my office. No, Sydney has, they know. They show up, bang, they're on the phones from 8 to 10 o'clock. That's given, okay? What I'm talking about now, though, are the other times, okay? And I want you to write these down. This is what we're defining as peak prospecting times. Weekday evenings after 6 o'clock. Weekdays after 6. Saturday morning starting at 9 a.m. and Sunday afternoons after 4. Those are the times when you are the most likely to get people to pick up the phone that won't pick it up at any other time. Okay, those times. Now, when I first presented this concept to my team, I could see their body language. I could read the grumblings, oh my Lord, I don't know that I want to prospect for another couple hours in the evening. I said, no. I'm not asking you to prospect for a couple hours. This is what I'm asking for you to do. Now, we use a CRM called Chime. A lot of you use it. Some of you use different ones. Doesn't matter. You still have lead pipelines where your leads go into. Well, we have a pipeline called New Leads. Okay. Every time a new lead comes in, it immediately goes into that pipeline, New Leads. It'll stay in New Leads for 48 hours before it automatically will transfer over to what's called attempting contacts if you haven't been able to reach them. It'll go over to attempting contacts. It'll then stay in attempting contacts for up to 5 days. After 5 days, and it's going to move it out from there. I won't get into those details. But the thing that I'm asking them to follow up on during these peak times is their new leads, They're attempting contacts. And
Kirsty?
then we have a hot lead bucket of hot leads, 0 to 30 days. Now, not every hot lead needs to be called every day, but for those that do that they haven't been able to reach in the morning, I want them to attempt those hot leads again in the evening. This takes an average of 15 to 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes if you get on a long conversation. So I want you guys to hear that point. I'm not talking about having to spend a whole lot of time. And I'm also not talking about you have to do this every day. If you can pick up 3 or 4 of these peak prospecting times throughout the week, I promise you guys, you are going to experience setting appointments, way more appointments than you set before, and you're going to add more deals than you have done. This is one of the key things that my team has done this month. It's just making that little extra sacrifice, but we're picking up extra appointments and extra sales that we weren't picking up from before, just by making those calls during those peak prospecting times. That's step number 1. Step number 2. Most of you guys know that have known my coaching style. I am all about mindset. I am all about mindset. I believe that if you think this is a great market, then you're going to think, act, and perform as though it's a great market. And if you think the opposite, unfortunately, the opposite is true. So what do we do to keep that mindset? Well, this month, I had every single morning as part of my morning routine, I find a video, most of the time it's on YouTube. I find a video, an inspirational, motivational video, and I text it out to my team every single morning. Okay. And I mean, it's worked phenomenally well. To the point, actually, the cool thing that's coming as a result of it now is now they're starting to get involved. We use a program called GroupMe. Some of you may be familiar with it. It's just an app. It's a texting app that we can use amongst our team. And that's the primary way that I communicate with them. And so I'll put that video on GroupMe, and then some of the other teammates, they'll find some other great videos and they'll put it on GroupMe too. And the next thing you know, we're all sharing amongst ourselves, with positive motivational stuff. And I'm telling you, the atmosphere around my office is better than ever. I got a bunch of excited people right now. And so, but we're just pumping this positive into our minds. I want to give you a personal example. Sydney, you know Ryan Shannon.
Absolutely. Yes,
She loves you.
I love her.
Absolutely loves
I
Sydney.
love her too.
Yep. And so I want to tell you about what Ryan's doing, because Ryan had a baby in January, and Ryan got, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, anybody would get a little distracted when you have your first child. And she did. She got a little distracted. And so we had a conversation. It was last month. We had a conversation. I won't go into the details, but we had a breakthrough. Basically she was playing the either or game. I can either be a great mother or I can be a great real estate agent. I can't be both. Okay. That was that self-limiting belief that she had allowed to creep into her head. And so we dealt with that self-limiting belief because they're easy to deal with. Once you identify them and you pull them into the conscious mind, all of a sudden you're thinking, what in the world am I thinking? That's ridiculous. Of course I can be both. And so she's accepted the fact that she can be both. And so now she starts off with positive videos every morning, and every night before she goes to bed, she listens to another positive video or a comedy act, a comedian, something that makes her laugh or makes her feel good. That's the last thing that goes into her head before she goes to bed. So is it working? Well, today's the 21st. She sold 11 houses this month. I would say it's working. Okay. Evidence to the positive. All right. So that's what I want you guys to understand. In this market right now, you have got to be pumping positive into your mind on purpose. Okay. Share it amongst yourselves. Okay. Positive stuff. Because here's something else that we learned. And actually I learned this because I'm the guy surfing these videos early in the morning, trying to define which one I want. So I'm benefiting from all the stuff I'm learning and hearing. And this one in particular really resonated with me because it was talking about, Dean, you remember when I was up there in your neck of the woods and we were talking about how we all perform up to the level of our own self-image. Okay. But here's the thing. So everybody says, all right, well, I want to perform differently. I want to raise my production. How do I do it? Well, this is what I learned from this video. Whenever we think about something, whenever I say, okay, I'm doing 3 sales a month and I want to take it to 6. What happens is we immediately go into our past and we reference anything that we can relating to this. Like, oh, well, you've tried it before and you didn't do it then. What makes you think you're going to do it now? I mean, here we go. Yeah, you keep making promises to yourself that you don't keep. And you keep referencing the past. And as long as you're referencing the past does what? It keeps reoccurring. You're bringing the past into your present, and it's not accomplishing what you want. So what do we need to do? All right, so if we want to take our business to that next level, and we realize that step one is we have to change our mindset, we have to change our beliefs, we have to change who we are, because as long as we're that old person, we're going to keep producing like that old person. How do we change? The way we change is we go into the future. We go into the future. Now, what do I mean? Okay, so let's just say that we're going to take it from 3 sales a month to 6. Run the numbers. How much money does that equate? What does that mean for you? What can you buy? What can you do? How are you going to feel? How is your significant other going to react to that? And you start to visualize. This is the key, guys. You start to visualize. It's actually been scientifically proven that when you visualize in vivid detail to the point that you actually experience genuine emotion, and that's kind of the thing that you're looking for there, is you want to visualize enough to the point you experience genuine emotion. It's a proven fact that that visualization has the same impact on your mindset as if it actually happened. It's the same thing. So we have a choice. If we want to make a change, we can either start referencing the past, and all that's going to do is cause the past to reoccur when we're trying to get away from it, or we can start referencing the future. What do I want my future to be in vivid detail? Think it, speak it, allow it to permeate who you are. Be aware of what's coming into your ears, what's coming into your eyes, who you're spending time around. If you want to make a change, you've got to do things differently. And so this is what I'm emphasizing with my team, this month is, guys, we've got to start to become, we've got to transform ourselves into the person who performs at that next level. Now, is everybody buying in? Sydney, you already know the answer to this question. No, not everybody, but I don't give up. I'm tenacious, I'm persistent, and I'm breaking through. I'm breaking through like Ryan, broke through real fast. She's rocking it. Okay. Heather's a little bit slower. Some of them are a little bit more resistant. That's just people. But I just keep coming at them and keep coming at them. And I'm convinced I'm going to convince them of what they can do and accomplish. So that's the second step, is it's all about their mindset, positive every day. Third step is we're keeping detailed track of the numbers every day. I have sold them, I have begged them, I have pleaded with them, guys, please keep detailed track of your numbers. I'm holding them accountable every day, which is a pain in the butt, but after a while of doing it, then they start to realize, hey, he's not going to let me off the hook. I might as well do it. And now they're doing a great job with it. And what I did is we got through the halfway point in the month, I met with each of them. And I shared with them what the numbers, even though it was only 2 weeks, it still had some information that I could share, what the numbers are telling us. Because that's where the real coaching and guidance comes in, is not on emotion. See, if I was to ask you guys collectively, what do you do well and where do you need to improve? What's something that's a weakness that you need to build on? You're probably going to give me an answer based upon emotion about how you feel now, based upon something that maybe happened today or recently. And it may or may not be right. But the numbers are always right. As long as you put in the right numbers, the numbers will always tell a story. And I'm trying to teach my salespeople this by showing them what I can already discern just from the numbers that they're putting in. This is what I can pick up. And I'm coaching and guiding them. And I'm telling them, as we accumulate the numbers over the month, over the next month, over the month after that, eventually it's really going to tell us an accurate story of who they are and what they need to do to go to the next level. So I'm getting my salespeople to buy into the detailed tracking of their numbers. Now, on this point, one of the things that I'm asking them to hold themselves accountable to, and I want you guys to think about this as well. Some of you may need to multiply this number, but I'm asking my salespeople I want you to focus on setting one qualified appointment per day. One qualified appointment per day. Now, listen, when I say this, I want you to have integrity with yourself, which means that if you don't do it in the morning, if you don't do it right off the bat, then you don't let up until you do. You push, you work, you make the sacrifice, you do what you have to do to get that one qualified appointment. Because as soon as your subconscious knows that you're willing to do what it takes, it quits fighting you so much and lets you have it easier and earlier. Trust me on this one, it's true. So set one qualified appointment a day. So let's just have some fun, and we're going to do a little math. And this is a formula that I put in front of my team this month. So there's 30 days in September, and let's just say that we're going to work 25 of the 30. Okay, so if we set 25 qualified appointments for the month, and 20 of them actually come together, and the other 5, you know what happens. People don't show, they cancel, whatever. So if they set 25 and they go on 20, and they only close, and I know this is a low number for some of you, but if they only close 25%, they've sold 5 houses. They've sold 5 houses. Now, the average commission for my team is roughly $4,000. So 5 sales times $4,000 is $20,000 a month. Most of the people on my team, not all of them, Ryan Shannon would be disappointed with that number, but there's others that would be ecstatic with that number. Okay. So $20,000 a month. So then we'll take it and we'll simplify it down. One qualified appointment a day equals what? $20,000 a month. One qualified appointment equals $20,000 a month. Then you have to answer the question, is it worth it? Is it worth it? Is it worth making the sacrifice? Is it worth putting that little extra effort out? Okay, to hit some of those peak prospecting times, to listen to these videos, to allow myself to visualize myself into the future and not into the past, to keep detailed track of my numbers. Is it worth it if I can accomplish that? So that's the plan that I put together for the team in the month of September. And like I said, we're rocking it right now. I would love to think that we could hit 70 sales this month. 19 people selling 70 houses. Sydney, that ain't bad.
It doesn't suck.
It doesn't suck. So I gave you this a little bit faster than I did the first time when I was talking to myself. So this is a great time for you guys. Unmute yourself. What questions can I answer for you? What can I do to clarify these points? I've already spent time all
Can I
alone.
ask, can you
Mark, yes.
clarify the
Oh, Chris.
prospecting
Hey, Chris.
times? Peak
Yep,
prospecting times, Saturday, I didn't get
evenings.
that day.
Saturday, okay, so it's evenings, it's weekday evenings after 6,
Got you.
Saturday morning starting at 9 o'clock, Sunday afternoons after 4 o'clock. And you want to know something funny? If I had to pick one time and say, okay, I'm only going to do one, Gordon, which one is it? Sundays after 4. Everybody is home on Sunday evening, getting ready for work the next day, getting kids ready for school. Sundays are primo time. Ray, do you have a question?
Yeah, Gordon,
go ahead,
I have
Ray.
a question. You mentioned that when your subconscious knows that you're serious about setting one QLA a day, it will allow you to do it sooner in the day.
Yes.
Just expand on that a little bit.
Sure. So think about it this way. I actually just covered this in my team meeting today. So we all tend to have 2 voices in our head. One is the can-do voice, and one is the reasons why you can't do. Okay, and they're fighting at each other all the time. And so what you've got to do is you've got to have the self-discipline. You've got to have the determination to do what you have to do so that this little boy starts to realize, hey, I stand no chance against this guy. Okay, he is too mentally strong, and I'm going to quit giving excuses, and I'm going to quit getting in the way, because I can tell that this guy's on a mission and he is not going to give up. And so eventually the resistance starts to let down, because we guys are our biggest resistance. It's not the world around us, it's us. And it's the thoughts right here that are our biggest resistance. And if we can show ourselves, hey, listen, I am going to be in integrity with myself. If I say I'm going to set one appointment a day, I'm going to do it no matter what, even if that means I come walking through the door at 9 o'clock at night. I got it done. And then it starts to get easier and easier. And without that resistance, without that other voice over here, Ray, it starts to get easier. It starts to come faster. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thanks.
Awesome. See, somebody
I
else
got
had a
one.
question. Mark, go ahead.
Mark
Mark.
Hammer. Yeah, so been in the business for a long time. I've got a database that's been great to me. But what I'm finding is I come from the Mike Ferry background for a long time where I was doing 50 contacts a day.
Right.
And I'm used to that. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm just calling my database. But with my team of
Right.
7, I want to get out and door knock, and I'm not having the same success door knocking as I did, say, 3, 4, 5 years ago.
Right.
And so what do I need to switch mentally to get that success door knocking that I had, say 5 years ago?
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you something at the risk of being controversial. Who, me? Right. But I am a big believer in the law of attraction. Okay. Whether, I talk to my team about it all the time, whether you're a Christian, I believe it's biblical. If you're not a Christian, hey, it's still true. It's still true. You're going to get what you expect to get. Okay. You're going to attract it to yourself. And so you could go out door knocking with the right mindset of excitement, enthusiasm, and you're going to get results out of it. Let me give you a perfect example of a conversation I had this morning with one of the people on my team. Her name is Mindy. And I was talking with Mindy because her production has slowed here lately. And her 4th month of having a license and working for me, I mean, brand new licensee, her 4th month, she sold 7 houses. Who would think that's pretty good? Okay, pretty good. 7 houses in her 4th month. And now this month, here we are at the 21st of the month, she's got 1. But she's way smarter. She's got way more experience, way more knowledge, way more reps under her belt. It should be easier now than it was then, but it's not. What's the difference? The difference is that 4th month, she was so excited, so enthused. I won't bore you with the background, but she and one of the people on my team had a long distance relationship for 2 years. And she finally decided to move here to Oklahoma City, blend their families. So she was nervous and excited all at the same time. And she was absolutely having a blast selling real estate. It was the fun and the joy and the excitement of doing it that all of a sudden deal after deal after deal after deal came. Now she's gotten inside her head and she's thinking so much about it. She knows just enough to start doubting and questioning herself. At that time, she didn't. Okay. So my point to you, Mark, is you have got, if you go back to that quote, as soon as you walk in my training room, in my office, you're going to see a huge quote on the wall. It's from Napoleon Hill. And it says, what the mind of man can conceive and believe he can achieve. So you've obviously conceived a thought, a goal, but have you believed it? See, that's the hardest step of the 3. You have got to get to the point where you believe it. How do you believe it? That goes back to step 2 of the September plan. Okay, it's pumping your mind full of the positive, full of the can-do thoughts. I'll give you another analogy that many of you on this call can relate to. So I still consider myself an athlete, although not quite the same as I used to be. I used to be a college basketball player. Hey, listen to this. My sophomore year in college, I won the slam dunk competition. Now I think I wouldn't go in traction if I just tried to grab the net. But anyway, so let's talk about a sports term for a second that relates to this. And that sports term that most of us are familiar with is the term in the zone. In the zone. What is the zone? There are times when I'd have that basketball in my hand and that basket seemed as big around as a trash can. I mean, I couldn't miss. I was in the zone. I could feel it. I knew that shot was going in before it ever left my hands. I was in the zone. It was a mindset. Did I become a better shooter? Did my knowledge of the shot and the game change? No, nothing changed other than my mind believed that I could make the shot and that I was going to make the shot and that it was going to go in. There was never a doubt from the time that the ball hit my hand to the time I released it. I just knew, give me the ball, guys. I can't miss right now. So what we need to do, Mark, what you need to do is you've got to get yourself in the zone, irregardless of what you're doing. If you're doing it with a high level of belief and a great attitude, it's going to work. Some of these points and go out and apply it today. And some of you, I know I'm going to be seeing you soon in Scottsdale, and I'm looking forward to it. Have a great day, guys. Thank
You
you.
guys
Thank